Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Live Before Lock. We're going to go through this as quickly as we can. There's a ton of information and a ton of things not to know. So,
Hang on.
every single thing that happened today, just totally ignore.
You there?
Just adjust to everything now to the current ownership and the current projections. Do
you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, but I was just trying to.
Wait, you got to stop for just a second. Okay. SaberSim is down.
SaberSim is working completely fine for me, so I don't know how to
listen.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
All right, dude, I'll talk to you later.
No, I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say. I really was trying. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about what I'm doing on this slate then. The SaberSim issues, we're trying to figure out what's happening with certain people. I would like to have talked through it with Sheets, but I was just saying I don't understand because I'm getting it working totally well. Some of the other people are working totally well, and some people aren't. And it is an outage, apparently, that has nothing to do with either us or SaberSim. So we are sorry for it. But according to SaberSim people, we have our SaberSim chat open here, and they're trying to get it, but it's not working for some people. So sorry about that. I can't quite figure out what to tell you about that one without going, but I will share my screen because my SaberSim is working. So that's the best thing I can think to do right now. All right, let me just grab this. All right. What's up, Nick? So sorry about that. So here's what SaberSim is where they're at. I'm just going to do another refresh because it's sort of all over the place. So this is the best we can offer right now because for some reason it is working for me. Ignore the ownership because it's still updating. K9's working as well. So a lot of people it's working for, some people it's not. It seems to be a part of the country thing. I don't really know what to say about that. But I did just think this is the best solution is maybe just go through what we're doing. As you can see, the Boston is going to be projecting much better than everybody else. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just trying to double check that all the players are up. Yeah, so you can see like the thing that I'm taking from this is I'm probably going to have 2 or 3 Boston players on most of my teams, minimum of 1. And Hauser and Pritchard being the obvious values. Holiday. Then Holiday and Tatum, I think you could flip a coin on which one you wanted to play, but obviously they're different prices. And then I think Marcus, I think it's Derek White also is a really good play as well. So I just wanted to go into that. I don't know where. I'm just trying to get sheet back. Anyway, so here we are. I'm trying to get through this for you guys. So it's okay. Boston, most likely it's going to be 2 or 3 for me. Chicago, minimum 1, probably going to be 2, fine to 2. Cleveland, not necessarily minimum 1, but most likely one of Garland, one of Mitchell, or the chalkiest one is going to be LeVert. I think that's totally fine. I like getting into some Donovan Mitchell. He's going to be pretty popular as well. And then I will also fill in some Mobley and some Allen and some Struss as well. So I'm really looking at it as teams that I'm trying to break down and really, instead of stacking games, I think you want to stack, teams when you have these many guys out and all that. So basically Boston, like, as I mentioned, the biggest priority, but I still do really like the Chicago situation. You can just see in the projections, everybody is from those games. So yes, this is for, K9, I can't share for both sites because I'm only sharing the one at a time. So I can't share more than one window right now. But no, this is DraftKings right now, and that's what we're going to focus on. And we'll talk about FanDuel with any specific related questions. But nothing is really all that crazy different between the 2 sites to me. There's a few little differences, but I don't think it's anything glaring enough to where we have to change it. This is for DraftKings for right now. Oh, RJ is out now too. Koulibaly a priority? Absolutely not a priority. Is a guy that I don't mind using some of. I'm high on him. He's played a lot better than they thought he would so far. I like the young kid, but there's no way in a million years Koulibaly is ever going to be a priority on this kind of slate. But is he a good tournament play? Absolutely. He's put up 42 and 31 in the last 2 games. We have a similar, situation there. The minutes are going to be fluctuating all over the place in Washington, as we know they tend to do. But I do really like the idea of getting to some Koulibaly as maybe a contrarian. It's just hard for me to justify him over Sam Hauser. I mean, you see Sam Hauser is the best projected player on the slate now, but maybe you could play both those 2 guys together. Do I think Levine is going to bust today? I don't think Levine is a sure thing. I think I would set I definitely want one of Levine, Vucevic, and Kobe White in most of my lineups. And as you can see, I put Vucevic and Kobe White as my priorities. The trade talks with Levine and everything, I'm afraid might have a little bit of a negative effect. So I'm not quite as high on Levine as I was before. Just hearing more throughout the day has kind of got me a little bit more worried. But all of these guys are going to have opportunities to play more, and we still don't have news about Alex Caruso. So that's really the main thing. Yeah, Josh Hart is a good play now. It's going to take a few minutes, guys, for the New York stuff, but we really know what to do. It's the same thing it's always been. So it's going to make Randall and Brunson both so much better plays than they were to start the day. It's going to make Quickly a good tournament play. It's going to make Hart the chalkier tournament play, but one that people use. And again, it's just going to take minutes for it to update. There's just no way in the world it's going to update within the second someone's announced out. It just takes a minute. Any thoughts on Beauchamp for value? I just think that that's an earlier game, and why are we trying to force a little too much? Maybe I think it makes some sense. I actually like Beauchamp as a player, but it feels like, would I rather play Beauchamp or would I rather play? I guess you could argue for Beauchamp over these guys. I'm okay with it. Again, I'm not finding that as value. I'll share my screen again real quick. And there's no must. There's no automatic on this slate. There's nobody's a must play to answer that question. So there's no lock button anything. There's lock button situations for me, which are Boston again, 2 or 3 mostly. Chicago 1 or 2. Cleveland 1 or 2. That's sort of my priority original way to build right now. I'm going to share this screen. Can you guys see it yet? So that's just some current builds. Sorry, it's got my football one, just literally a total insignificant thing. These are just some early builds that I came up with. I'm going to be changing these quite a bit because we didn't have the Barrett news and some other stuff, but you can sort of see what I was going for. And then really quickly, I'm just going to show my FanDuel builds. And so you guys have an idea of what I'm doing. And I have to stop showing before we get in trouble. But those are this is the earliest build I made, but I'm gonna have to edit it down. This is a more accurate of what I'm doing tonight build up top, and trying to get some low ownership in some of those games with run backs. You know what I mean? Trying to play the Trey Jones and Jordan Poole on the other side of Luka, and I might even fit Josh Green in that lineup. Same thing over here, Josh Green, Luka, I get the low owned Kuzma to go with it. That's sort of the route I'm going, although I'm probably going to get into a little bit more Randall. Would you take Josh Green or Patrick Williams? I think Josh Green is the better play, but I don't think it's that clear cut. So I am totally fine with Williams. I just like the game stack better with Jeff Green than I do with the Orlando Bulls, which is going to be a little bit slower. And Williams also, there is some variance with him. We've seen him play a lot of minutes and not get there before. Also, if Caruso's back, it might be a little bit of a knockdown to him. So I think Green is the more obvious answer. But I am totally good if you want to go the other way and play Patrick Williams instead. I have exposure to both, as you saw in my early build just a minute ago. TJ saying he doesn't think Embiid plays today. I would be shocked if Embiid doesn't play, or I'd be surprised. And if they don't, the NBA needs to check themselves, because this is what they wanted to avoid. These stars sitting on these nationally televised games. And you have this game on ESPN tonight. I don't have any trace of anything. None of the spreads or anything are leading me to that Embiid won't play. Let me just see if the spread updated on here. I'm just looking at the RG thing. Philadelphia, yeah, it was a 5.5 point game early. Now it's 2. It's a chance. There's a chance he sits, but if he doesn't, we're going to have things we can do. It's not like we're going to have all of our players in the first game. We're going to have a lot from the Milwaukee game. I forgot to mention that. I have Milwaukee's the other team that I trying to get minimum 1 of. So Boston, Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland. All of those teams are going to make up the bulk of my exposure, and I would suggest that you guys try to do something similar, because these are the spots that you can see where all the value is. And you can also play some guys who may be a little bit more speculative in that. Derek White might have a little bit lower ownership on DraftKings. I think he'll be very popular on FanDuel. But it's really going to be one of those kind of wild slates. So I like the idea of getting exposure to those four teams, the Milwaukee, Boston, Chicago, Cleveland, and then finding different run backs where I'm playing 2 of them. Milwaukee, for example, I think you could play Portis and Lillard and then run it back with either Siakam or Scotty Barnes. Don't forget Schroeder is still questionable, and we already have obviously no Gary Trent, no Anunoby, and I think that this is a spot that we would have jumped on a few days ago. Doncic, Hardaway, Koulibaly, sure. Nothing about yeah, fine. Just don't get so stuck on the game chasing. Koulibaly could literally score 5 fantasy points tonight. It wouldn't surprise me. There's so much value out there of guys who have to play. Playing guys who don't have any reason except for, they looked really good the last 2 games is probably a little bit of a thin way to play this slate. But having said that, I like Koulibaly to get a little different. But so I think it's fine. I'm certainly not trying to get to Luka, Koulibaly, Hardaway as a combo. I do have Luka as the best spend up along with Tatum and Lillard. And that's pretty clear based on, the teams that I told you today. Can I give an explanation of what we do in the Phoenix-Minnesota game? Yeah, you play Anthony Edwards or you do nothing. That's probably one of the least interesting DFS games on the slate, maybe the least interesting DFS game on the slate. So that's the answer for that one. Banchero is a sneaky play? Absolutely. Totally fine with everybody from Orlando. Just nobody's going to make the priority for list for me on this kind of a slate against a team that plays slow on a back-to-back. So it's just not for me. I'm not getting to it much, but I'm totally fine if you go there. I would rather get up a little bit higher to Randall or Kuzma or Siakam a little bit higher. Luka and stay around 8-9K for studs. That's the answer, Jo, is I'm doing both. And you can play Luka and other studs. You have some questionable-ish value. On FanDuel, it's a little bit easier to play 2 studs. But you can play Luka with a 9K guy. That's not even going to be a little bit difficult. Well, it's not going to be especially difficult. You got Pritchard and Hauser as value. That's immediately plug those 2 guys in. All of a sudden, it balances out the rest of your lineups a little bit. And you could also use the Patrick Williams play, which we talked about in Josh Green, who I think are very, very close. As I mentioned, I have Josh Green a little bit ahead, but it's more because I like the game environment. So really, it depends on whatever works best for you today. And I'm trying to do a bunch of things at once. I really feel that and I'm really sorry about the anybody who is still having the issue, but that's why I'm trying to share my screen and answer any questions. So treat this as any questions go. You guys know what I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure out what my exact builds are going to be, but I'm giving you everything that I've got for me right now, and I'll update it in Discord once I get it done after this, and then including after lock, I'll also continue to go. I don't think there's any reason to look for a Vooch narrative. He's a good play anyway, so it doesn't matter. It would be more of a thing if he was playing in Orlando. It's less of a thing that he's playing at home, and that's it. He's a good play. You don't need to try and find a narrative when it doesn't need to be found. He's a good play. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. Struss. I do like Struss, Jo. I think Struss gets overlooked in this spot by the way the slate's breaking down. So I would try to get a little bit of exposure to him depending on how many lineups you're playing. I will probably have him in the 15 to 20% range. I'm not sure where that goes against the field because it's hard to know with the new information, but I like the idea of getting some of him when there's going to be guys like much more popular, like Kobe White in this price range. Come on, please hit the like button. We know it's kind of a scramble day and we're doing the best we can. I just want to make sure we do what we can for you. And I'm trying to go through some other stuff. I put my core up, but at the same time, my core is changing by the minute because we are going to have stuff from New York that I think I'm probably going to end up with Julius Randle as part of the core. Once we get this projections updated, let's just take a look. Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jo. Appreciate that. And please do hit the like. We really appreciate it, guys. And we want to keep doing these videos for free, not just for the premium members, but we will be in Discord for the premium members all night. And I will be there trying to help everybody out as much as I possibly can. Hopefully do a little better than last night and more like it's been the first couple of weeks of the season. I guess a few weeks of the season now. All right. So I'm just looking at some other things about the Knicks stuff. I want to make sure we have it in. The interesting thing is it's actionable. Like you could see Josh Hart all of a sudden projecting really well at 31 fantasy points. That's very reasonable for his price. There's upside on that. Both Brunson and Randall now projecting over 5X. I really like both those guys, actually. Remember, Brunson has beaten the hell out of this Atlanta team before. So can he do it again? I think so. So I like the idea of those guys. Quickly is a tournament play, but I think a very good one. And I would put Quickly in Quickly and Struss would be an interesting conversation for who would go there. I think Struss is the right answer if you're going to pick that, but I do think Quickly makes for a really good sneaky tournament play. The main ones though, Hart, Brunson, Randall. I think Randall becomes that, and I'm going to put Randall as part of my core right now. And again, it's a more of an expanded core because there's so many good plays because of all this news today. So thoughts on Monk Reeves? Absolutely no interest whatsoever. There is not a way in the world I'm playing the Monks Reeves lineup tonight. So I will have zero exposure to both those players. With all the news that's come in, I just think you're just taking shots for the sake of taking shots. I don't think there's any actual logic to playing those two guys at all, personally. Even though I always think that there's always a chance Malik Monk can go nuts any game, but I don't know what we're doing if we're making those kind of plays. Do I like De'Aaron Fox or was it cheap? No, I do like De'Aaron Fox. It's just hard to prioritize him versus the other guys. I like him less than Brunson. I like him less than Randall. I like him less than Kuzma. And those guys are all cheaper. So that's the issue I'm having with the De'Aaron Fox. I like him less than Vucevic. I like him less than Mobley. Yeah. Any thoughts on Keegan Murray? I will have zero Keegan Murray. Never even crossed my mind today. Don't even think it's worth a play. Wouldn't do it myself. Not going to get there. Yeah, I mentioned Monk earlier in the day. Everything is completely different than it was earlier in the day. So I'm not going to have the same takes. If I had the same takes I had earlier in the day, I'd be an idiot. If I was sitting here talking about the same plays, when we lose literally 19 players, things are going to change. So yeah, the news is it changes absolutely everything. If you're going to take a Monk a shot on Monk, sure. But how are Monk and Reeves going to outscore everybody in their price range? Even like Reeves, like you look at it, I guess like you can. I mean, it's another game that's an ESPN game. Austin Reeves is coming off the bench. He's projected for 24 fantasy points. He's projected to play only 28 minutes. He's been pretty awful so far to start the season. Sure, could he have a game? Yeah, but there's just no reason to make those kind of plays. Yeah. DeAndre Hunter, it's a good question. I don't have any of them myself, but I don't think there's any problem with playing him. I just think that there's better plays. But if I ended up stuck on DeAndre Hunter, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I'd rather play Bogdanovich if I took a shot, but they're both fine. The truth is that Hunter, even though that doesn't affect him as much, he does seem to play better when Trey's not there. And there just isn't that many minutes. So with Trey back, Hunter at that, I'm not going to get to any of it probably. But if I ended up stuck there, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I just think there's probably better plays to find. Hawks defense, Hawks defense is not good. I agree with that. What does the lineup look like with Randall in it? I can't rebuild all my lineups and do all that on this side of this show. So you guys got to go try and build your own thing. I could show you one, which would be boom, here. It looks like this. There it is. There's Randall. Okay. So that would be the one. I don't see any reason to play the Suns. What's the thinking with the Suns that I may have missed? Did I get? Is there a bunch of people out that somehow got overlooked on this slate? Let me just take a look. No. Yeah, I have zero interest in the Suns against the best defensive team in the NBA for the first time all year or second time all year that they're at full strength. First time all year that they're supposed to be at full strength. I really think playing on the Suns would probably be just a really, really bad play, even though somebody might get there. Yes, I'm playing a lot of Portis to answer that question. Thoughts on pivoting off Portis to Lopez? Lopez smashes. Lopez is not the same Lopez we've seen in the past. He looks slow. He doesn't look like he's moving right, which is sort of what we've seen, but he just doesn't seem to have as much. I way prefer Portis to Lopez, but also you're not getting – I mean, you look at the ownership right now, it's a lower ownership, and it's not like Lopez is unowned or something. So I will have shares of both, but I am way higher on Bobby Portis than I am on Lopez. I also think that Lopez is a strong play, and I think you can play them together today if they're both starting. And even if they're not both starting, I still think it's okay to play them together tonight. All right, what else? Scotty Barnes, how many plays? The idea of these slates, so the strategy should be to try to make them smaller, not try to make them bigger and expand out to other players. I think Scotty Barnes is actually a good play, so I'm not trying to say that about him. The problem is that we run through all these names and people are like, oh, but we never mentioned this name. Well, literally, there's 80 guys I could name as good plays tonight. It's just a matter of the ones I'm actually going to end up playing that I'm trying to talk through. So I think Scotty Barnes is totally legitimate. If I was playing Scotty Barnes, I probably would be playing at least 2 from Milwaukee in that lineup. And I would say the same thing about Siakam. I think you can play at least 2 from Milwaukee, play one of Barnes or Siakam, And I think that makes perfect sense to me. I'm totally good with both of those sides of it. Any thoughts on Kispert? Nope, you're reaching again. Reaching at this time. Kispert was a potential guy we could look at early in the day, and really doesn't make any sense as of right now. What's he projected for? 18 fantasy points at 4K? No, thank you. And I don't think, there might be a little bit of upside on that, but I just don't. It's just not the right kind of play. Could he get hot and make 4 threes? Of course, it's basketball. Anything can happen. But I really think it'd be a mistake to just be playing guys like that, especially in the early games. Wagner or Batadze for Orlando? I have zero interest in either. So that's my answer. I guess if I had to pick one, I guess Wagner. You got a split minute situation, and not necessarily true that centers just smashed the Bulls. That's not necessarily true. The Bulls have the reason that's happened a lot is partly because the Bulls have missed so many shots, and their centers are getting there on the rebounding. There's nothing wrong with Wagner or Batadze, but there's just so many other plays in the slate that I like so much better. So I'm not playing those guys over Bobby Portis. Alex Caruso in. Thank you, TJ. Good job on that one. Jaden Hardy only for large giant field stuff unless he somehow is announced starting, which I doubt. But at this price, you kind of need to make it just for giant field tournaments. And I think that there's merit to it for a very, very large field tournament. But I don't think there's merit to it on a high buy-in, smaller field tournament. Drew Pritchard or LeVert White? Ooh, I don't like the Drew Pritchard pairing that much, even though they aren't going to they'll play together some tonight. I think LeVert White is my answer there, but LeVert, I don't understand which White are we talking about? Kobe White or Derek White? I guess it's got to be Kobe White if those are the prices, right? I honestly don't know what that question is. So say it again, Jo, and I'm happy to try and answer it for you if I can figure it out. Kobe. I think it's LeVert and Kobe White, but I think there's nothing wrong with the Drew and Pritchard either. They're both very solid options. I think you may be negating a little bit of your upside by playing Drew with Pritchard. So I would probably go LeVert White. Kobe White, less of a play. Yes, he's a little bump down for White, but keep in mind, even as he's projected well all day, we've already assumed that Caruso is going to play. But yes, I will give a little bump down to White, enough to where I could probably take him out of my core. And I think I would put Vucevic into my core. Let's do this. Let's update this. For those of you guys who it is working for, great. All right, here we go. What else have we got? So this is really funny. Late night AD hammer. It's fine. Absolutely. Either LeBron or AD are fine. I'm not playing either of them, to be honest. So okay, what else have we got? Looks like things are drying up a little bit. Guys, please click the like before we get out of here. I'm going to be in the premium Discord helping everybody else tonight. I don't know. This is really, really kind of hard and frustrating. Let me see. Season. I'm just making sure I've got everybody here. Okay. Sorry, Bob. Did I miss my Lillard take? I do like Lillard for what it's worth. And Nick, I'm trying to help. Nick, just look at the channels. I think this is you who's asking me. I added you to the, because you're a premium member. I added you to the list that you're in premium. So you should, under Daily Fantasy Sports, when you keep scrolling down, there's premium channels. Just make sure you can see it. I can't go do all this stuff at the same time. Would I play Maxey if Embiid is out? Even at this price, yes, I would play Maxey if Embiid is out. Absolutely, and that game would become very stackable. So waiting for the Embiid news is important. I don't think we're waiting as much. I would be surprised if Embiid doesn't play, and if he doesn't, I think you're going to see some major stuff from the NBA coming up pretty soon, because this is not cool to have these guys continue to sit on their nationally televised games. So anyway, what else have we got? Let's see what else. And looks like that's it. I think the teams I think the Cavs, I think to some extent the Bulls, and definitely Toronto are going to be completely overlooked, where earlier in the day they looked like much better plays than they do now. No, I know he has a hip issue, but he played last night. If you play the front end of the back-to-back and then you sit the nationally televised game against your biggest rival, the NBA is not going to be happy with you. And this has to change. So, yes, it is possible that Embiid sits. I am not planning for Embiid to sit. I am planning as of right now that Embiid's in. If he doesn't, we know we're going to have to redo everything anyway. So, Paul Reed, assuming that Paul Reed starts, would probably be one of the guys who jumps out at you. Maybe Covington could get there now at 3,400. Thanks very much. I really appreciate the kind words. I don't think you're lesser people at all. I really take it seriously, and I want to do the best job we can for you guys. So just going to refresh one more time, leave you guys with the best projected plays on the slate and with my core. Why did that just happen? Why did Patrick Williams just jump up? Did somebody else get announced out? Did I miss? Did Torrey Craig get announced that or something? I really don't understand why Patrick Williams' number just jumped so much. Let me just see what I might have missed. Did the Bulls announce anybody else out? Or do they announce that Patrick Williams is officially starting? I'm trying to figure out where that news is affecting so much. I do like Patrick Williams for what it's worth. And going back to what we said before, I think Patrick Williams and Green are very close. Maybe because the game starts a little bit later and it's 8 Eastern, maybe I would side with Patrick Williams. But it does seem strange that it might just, that's why I'm on the Bulls. I'm like, why is he projecting so high? But here's the overall projection. Sorry about that, guys. These are the best point per dollar plays. I'm just going to scroll down for a minute at this moment. And these are also, therefore, going to be the chalkiest plays at this moment. But I can't play all of them. So these are the best point per dollar. And I do think getting to Sam Coulibaly is a good idea. I just think there's just so many plays I like better. But he's going to, because of it, you're going to get like what? He's going to end up like 1%, 2% owned. It's kind of interesting. As is Jabari Walker, which really is just a time buyer. If you're playing Cleveland guys already, you play them with Walker. You never know. You might find news in the later games that we just don't know that it's going to happen. And maybe something weird does happen. The Lakers say, F you, NBA and ESPN. Well, we're going to sit one of LeBron or AD. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you never know. We've seen that stuff before. Michael. So it wasn't SaberSim's fault. There was an outage down. It took out 70% of the country. We're trying to get it sorted. SaberSim's trying to get sorted out. It's actually working for us now, but it's not working on SaberSim. So that's why I'm trying to show everybody this right now. Really appreciate the nice words, Jolly. And I know it was showing an early upload. They're trying to figure out this problem. It's literally just like some sort. I don't know all the back end stuff, but something crashed that has nothing to do with SaberSim that took down like 1 million websites today, and they're trying to work with it. But somehow it's still working for 30% of the country, and I'm part of that. I think it's now more of the country, but I'm not 100% sure on that. SaberSim is doing everything they can to help, and we're trying to get this stuff done as quickly as possible. Anyway, good luck to you guys, and I'm going to finish my builds and then update you guys with what I'm doing in the Discord, in the premium Discord. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you guys at the leaderboard, top of the leaderboard.